You're watching a special all-women's edition of Inside Indiana Business. I'm guest host Kristen Cooper, CEO and founder of the Startup Ladies. Each week, a group of insiders offers perspective on the week's top stories. This week, we're sounding off on important issues women face in the workplace, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs securing funding. Our insiders this week, former CFO for Interactive Intelligence, Ashley Vukovits, SnapShyft Co-founder and COO, Stephanie Corliss, and co-founder of Singleton Companies, Judy Singleton. Stephanie, we're going to get started with you. Tell us a little bit about what your fundraising experience has been like for SnapShyft.
Challenging, absolutely. SnapShyft, we were building something new.
Sure.
We started in the Midwest, which has its own limitations and barriers. I'm a woman founder. It wasn't really until we got into the Generator program, a Midwest program now nationally known, that we started getting the traction and excitement that we needed from both the coasts and here back home in Indiana.
Okay, so funding is a little bit tough, especially for first-time founders.
It absolutely is.
So Judy, you have invested in a few Indiana startups. Why have you decided to invest in female-founded companies?
I have a history of being involved in investing my time in efforts to promote women in business and in politics. And when I started investing in startups, I was taught you should try to set your strategy about what kind of businesses you want to invest in. And the first thing that came to my mind is, of course, I would like to invest in women-led startups.
That's awesome.
It's, I had reasons. I know women have outperformed men in many ways.
Right.
And my first startup in Indiana, it was with Corliss, who you know, and it's been a wonderful experience.
Christy McDonald is smart and an incredible CEO.
She's terrific.
She is.
She's so terrific.
Yeah. We need more women investing in other women. We need more men investing in female-founded companies. Ashley, you have helped enterprise-level companies, startups raise money. Walk us through the fundraising process, and why do more people need to be investing in female founders?
So the investment process, or the funding process, raising capital, there's many different stages of it for startups. But in the beginning, it's usually like a friends and family round where it's people that know the founder, and that's typically where that starts. Then you go to a seed round where you might bring some outside investors in. You may get some funds involved, may not. Then you start into your Series A, Series B. I think it's important that we have not only women investing in women, but also men investing in women. I think women-led companies have a lot of potential and may not have the decks and may not have a lot of the experience, particularly if you're a first-time CEO of a startup. But I think it's important to revisit and look at the CEO, the founder, look at the product, look at the market, and just look at all those things and give women a fair shake.
Right. The founder, the market, the potential ROI, so important when making those decisions. Judy, tell us a little bit about what you want to see when a founder approaches you.
Well, first I would look at her leadership ability, and you can generally tell that within the first 5 or 10 minutes of visiting with somebody. And then I would look at the strength of her idea, because it has to make sense to me. This world is so rough and tumble, and ideas are coming up that I would have never understood are possible.
Sure.
And then I would look at her track record of success, and I also would see if she's the kind of woman who supports other women.
Oh, I love that.
I feel like I want to be in that same club.
That's awesome.
And I want to get a realistic view of what is possible to make, and I am in this to make money, not just to do a good deed for women who are trying to start a new business.
Right.
So I have to see a reasonable plan if she's telling me I'm going to get 10 times my money back, in 2 years, I know that's a little funny. So
Right, yeah. But more than likely, women founders, we know better than
Would
that.
never
We're going
do
to
that.
present
No.
smart to give
Yes.
you the deal you need to invest in. So Stephanie, you have been raising money for a little while. Tell us what the differences are between pitching an individual investor like Judy versus pitching to a fund.
There are a lot of similarities, there are differences. The biggest similarity is the team. With an angel, you're going to build that relationship, that rapport with a little bit more. You get to know them almost, I don't want to say a personal level, but you do.
Sure. You build trust.
It's basically courting.
Right.
You court each other,
Right.
honestly. You also want to make sure that the angel's a good fit for you.
Right.
They want to trust you. That's what they are going to invest in.
Yeah.
They also want to, make sure that their investment is safe. They're a little less risk averse, they are more risk averse than your typical VC fund or institutional money. Whereas the VC, they want to know strictly about the team,
Sure.
the market size, and can you execute.
Right.
They don't even care about the product as much.
Yeah.
And you might only have a couple conversations with them. They don't really get to know you. They really want to see your track record, either as being a founder before, or where you went to school, or what projects and where you've worked before.
Right.
That's how they validate the team.
Okay.
So.
Pre-seed funding is tough to raise. Ashley, you have helped people at different stages secure that kind of funding. Talk to us about what pre-seed funding is and why it's so important to startups.
Yeah, well, it's very important because it's really the money you're going to use to get your product or service off the ground. And depending on what that is, my background is in tech, so I invest in more in tech startups. There can be substantial funds that a company needs to get a tech product off the ground, tech product or tech service. So those funds, that friends and family pre-seed funds, are very important because those are the funds you're going to use to hire employees, to, if you're manufacturing, to create different products, prototypes. So it's just really important. And you really need to tap into your network of friends and family. You can't feel bad about asking when you're investing, when you're an investor and you're investing in these startups. What I do, and I'm sure what Judy does, we set aside some funds for high risk investments, and that's what's going to go towards these startups. And you have to know that you might not get that money back. So when you're talking to your friends and family, you just kind of have to be in that mindset, as well as the other thing I learned was we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that an individual is going to invest. There's sometimes it could be $5,000. A lot of times it's $25,000. So you can, you can get more people to put out those kind of funds if they know that you're not looking for hundreds of thousands or $1 million.
Right.
So it's really important to get those funds up front, get the development done, get a product or service, maybe even get a few customers, and then you can start talking more to some of the funds or institutional investors.